We now move on to our next presentation titled Navigating the Future, Responsible AI Governance for a Secure and Ethical Enterprise, which will be presented by Mr. Aditya Maurya, Cybersecurity Advisor, Inspira. Mr. Aditya Maurya has over 5 years of experience in driving security and compliance initiatives for global and public sector organizations. He currently leads Inspira's efforts on responsible AI adoption, helping BFSI and regulated sectors navigate emerging standards. Over to you, sir. I may also humbly request you to complete the presentation in the allotted time frame of 10 minutes, sir, so that you can ask questions.
Sure, I'll try. Hi everyone, a very good afternoon. So today we'll be talking about responsible AI governance. Artificial intelligence, as you know, is not a futuristic concept anymore. It is already embedded in everything that we do today. Be it in our personal life, we are using it for a whole lot of reasons, and in enterprises as well. The usage is rising by leaps and bounds. So with that background, let's start the presentation. So let's see where AI is being used in BFSI today. As you can see, it's not in just one place, it is everywhere. Let's touch base on the front office operation. So it is helping with the self-service apps, it is helping with branch automation, and it is helping with call center operations as well. And the benefit that customer is getting out of it is faster service, and the companies are able to provide the same with lesser error, very few error, and reduced manual labor. And there are so many use cases of artificial intelligence in banking and financial sector. It is basically reshaping each and every layer of it. So it has its application in customer management, it has its application in core system, even the HR and marketing departments are using it for things like screening certain resumes or creating contents which resonate with the customer. So AI is providing us with various different powers, and with these powers comes the risk aspects as well. So as we are bringing AI into our systems, there comes two types of risk. One is the safety related that you see on the left, and another one is the security related risk. Safety related risk is basically on the terms like what AI says or does. So things like hallucination, right? So you are asking a model for something, a certain response, and it is giving a completely different response. Another thing is it is showcasing toxicity or bias or hate speech, or it is suggesting self-harm. All of these risks are dangerous, and this can affect the people, the consumer, as well as the reputation of the organization. Then comes the security related risk. This is the more technical kind of a risk. Risk like data exfiltration, so the leakage of sensitive information from the model that you have in your organization, right? And the things like prompt injection, which is used to manipulate the data inside your model. And things like model theft itself. So you are training certain model based on the IP that you have and the confidential information that is existent in your organization, and it is stolen by threat actors. So that is a big risk, and both of these types of risks are dangerous. Hence comes the need of a responsible AI governance. So what exactly is responsible AI governance? It is the structured oversight of AI system to ensure that it is secure, ethical, compliant, and aligned to the business objective. And when we talk about responsible AI governance, we have 5 pillars that it stands on. First is the transparency aspect. So whatever decision artificial intelligence model is making should be based on certain logic, and it should be clear and explainable, right? You need to make sure that it is explainable, and yes. And then comes the accountability aspect. So the ownership in terms of who is basically creating the model and who is using the model, who is monitoring it and approving it, everything should be very clear. And it is one of the important pillars of a responsible AI governance. Then comes the fairness aspect. So there can be certain bias or discrimination in the data that is being used and amplified by AI model. So you need to make sure that you identify those bias and remove that, because it is not just unfair if that bias remain or discrimination go amplified, right? It can bring compliance related risk as well to the organization. Then comes the security and privacy related aspect. So all the technical risks that we talk about, the prompt injection, the model theft, the misconfiguration, this comes as part of security and privacy risk. So we need to make sure that we identify those risks and we mitigate those risks so that the AI remains ethical and secure. Then comes the last part, which is the compliance alignment. BFSI, as you know, is already a very regulated industry, and any missteps can lead to compliance related risk or regulatory fines. So we need to make sure that whatever AI model that you have in the organization and the AI system aligns with certain compliance framework, like the new emerging ones, ISO 42001 or the NIST AI RMF or the EU AI Act and things like that. So after going through all the information that we had related to the benefits that it's bringing, the risk that it has, and what exactly is responsible AI governance, we came up with this AI governance framework, which will help your organization in basically instilling the AI benefits of AI in a secure and ethical way. So it starts with AI discovery and inventory. So what you need to do is you need to have a centralized inventory of all the models that is running in your organization, right? Also, you need to capture information related to the metadata of that model as well. So you need to have information related to the model type or the purpose of it or the architecture in which it is created or what is the data that it has been trained of. So all those information should be available, and it should be a repository which lists down everything. And by doing this in discovery kind of an exercise, what you will be able to do is you will be able to find the shadow AI component, that is the AI tool that has been installed in your organization without proper oversight and which can bring new threats. Then comes the risk assessment and prioritization part. So the model that you have scanned and inventoried in your repository needs to be tested on the basis of risk that it can have, right? Risk like the bias, the hallucination, the drift, the explainability gap. All those risk related ratings should be created to each and every model. And these model needs to be scored and prioritized on the basis of the business criticality it has for the organization and the impact it can bring in case it goes down. Then comes the governance and policy mapping. So as we discussed, we need to align the model life cycle to certain framework that is coming in, and this will help you to have a clear ownership in terms of who is accountable for the model, and you can have enforce the access control related to the same. Right? Then the fourth pillar is related to the security posture evaluation. So from time to time, what you need to do is you need to conduct a VAPT time adversarial threat simulation into the AI models to see how it is reacting, what is the changes that has been happening in the runtime behavior, and how it is changing the input and output flows. So this will help you, this exercise will help in detecting things like prompt injection or the misconfiguration or the insecure API usage. And then the last part is compliance and continuous monitoring. So governance is not a life cycle. Governance is actually a life cycle, it's not a checklist. So you need to make sure that this is not a one-time exercise that you do. You need to carry it on again and again, right? And you need to make sure that there is a single pane of glass view in which you have all the information that we discussed right now. Inspira has came up with a platform which can help you with each and every pillar. Okay, we can discuss more at booth number 10. Then the last slide is related to the role of cybersecurity and CISO in AI governance. So with the threats that is coming in, there is an expanded mandate for CISOs to now also look at things like model protection and things like to enforce access control and audit trails to the models and to see how the monitoring and runtime defense is happening. And they are not just the defender of infrastructure anymore. They just not just look at the infrastructure and the firewall stuff. They are now the guardian of AI as well. So CISOs has to lead the way and has to work with other teams such as the data science and the risk and compliance to ensure that there is proper enforcement and definition of guardrails and control is there. And they have to continuously monitor the usage of AI model as well. Right? And in case any threat arises, they need to respond for the same. So I want to end this presentation with one thought, that AI governance without CISO oversight can be a risk, but AI governance with CISO oversight is a strength. So thank you so much everyone.